Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds thought they could use their Hollywood power to crush Justin Baldoni, but now, the tables have turned in a way no one saw coming. Major A-listers are jumping ship, publicly distancing themselves from the power couple, some even switching sides to back Justin. But the real shock? Blake's ex, Penn Badgley, just made a move that has everyone talking. Penn and Blake's history goes way back, having dated for 3 years while filming Gossip Girl. Their relationship was one of Hollywood's most talked about young romances, but when they split, they managed to keep things professional, at least on the surface. However, when Blake turned on Justin, Penn made his stance crystal clear. Instead of standing by his former flame, he cut ties with Blake and followed Justin on Instagram, sending a loud and clear message. But Penn's support runs much deeper than social media. He and Justin share a connection through their faith and a mutual belief in advocating for women's rights. And despite their past, Penn had no hesitation about siding against Blake, breaking whatever bond they had left. But here's where things get even crazier. Penn was close to Justin long before this drama exploded. The two were spotted together as far back as 2021, hanging out in New York, cracking jokes, and solidifying a friendship that Blake's influence couldn't shake. In fact, Penn even had Justin on his podcast Podcrush to talk about masculinity and consent, making it clear he values Justin's views. So when Blake accused Justin of misconduct on set, Penn didn't even blink before taking Justin's side. The fact that Penn, who has always been vocal about gender equality and ethical behavior in Hollywood, stood by Justin instead of Blake raised even more eyebrows. Did Penn know something the public didn't? Was Blake using her influence to sabotage Justin unfairly? And Penn isn't the only one seeing Blake in a new light. Colleen Hoover, the very author of It Ends With Us, played a role in this mess, and now, her reaction is making things even worse. Initially, she was all in on Justin playing the lead role and even encouraged it behind the scenes. But when Blake pulled the strings to shift public perception, Colleen flipped sides, publicly supporting Blake while throwing Justin under the bus. But that wasn't the end of Colleen's involvement. When Justin fired back with receipts, text messages, emails, and undisputable proof, Colleen suddenly disappeared from social media. Fans noticed she went silent on all platforms, removing herself from the controversy altogether. And now, the rumors are swirling. Is Colleen preparing to sue Blake and Ryan? Whispers suggest she might be taking legal action over broken promises, ones Blake made both publicly and privately about adapting more of her books into movies. With It Ends With Us being one of the most anticipated book-to-screen adaptations in years, the idea that Blake and Ryan manipulated the situation for their own benefit has infuriated Hoover's fans. But the most insane theory? Colleen might be suing just to save her own reputation before the whole controversy swallows her career. She built her empire on stories of redemption and emotional depth. Getting caught in a scandal like this could be the beginning of her downfall. And it's not just authors and actors who are turning their backs on Blake and Ryan, family members are, too. Blake's own brother-in-law, Bart Johnson, yes, Coach Bolton from High School Musical, went on a social media rampage against Justin, calling him a fraud and slamming his so-called feminist persona. But here's the twist: after Justin released his lawsuit with undeniable evidence, Bart did a full 180. He suddenly apologized to Justin, admitting he regretted his words, leaving people wondering, what does he know that made him change his mind so drastically? For someone as close to Blake's family as Bart to flip sides is telling. Did he see proof that changed his perception? Or was he pressured into initially defending Blake and Ryan, only to later realize he was on the wrong side of history? And then there's Taylor Swift, a decade-long best friend of Blake's. Taylor Swift and Blake Lively's friendship has been nothing short of a Hollywood fairy tale, full of glamour, loyalty, and jaw-dropping moments. But like any high-profile relationship, it hasn't been without its share of twists, rumors, and controversy. From secret meetups to major creative collaborations, their bond has captivated fans for nearly a decade, proving they're more than just A-list acquaintances, they're ride-or-die besties. Or are they? It all started in 2015 when Blake Lively playfully referenced Taylor's Bad Blood music video in a social media post. Fans went into a frenzy, assuming shade was being thrown, but Lively shut it down fast, making it clear she was actually a huge Swiftie. A few months later, the two were spotted hanging out in Australia during Taylor's 1989 tour, marking the beginning of what would become one of the most talked about friendships in Hollywood. By 2016, Lively and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, had officially entered Taylor's exclusive inner circle, attending her iconic 4th of July party. Then, in 2017, their friendship reached new heights when Taylor featured the voice of Lively and Reynolds' daughter, James, in her song Gorgeous. The internet lost it. This wasn't just a casual friendship anymore. These two were family. But the biggest power move came in 2021, when Lively made her directorial debut, on a Taylor Swift music video, no less. I Bet You Think About Me wasn't just any project, it was a cinematic masterpiece that proved their creative chemistry was just as strong as their personal bond. Fans couldn't get enough. Over the years, they continued to be spotted together at exclusive events, from glamorous parties to NFL games, where Taylor and Blake were seen screaming from the stands in support of Travis Kelce. Their friendship seemed unshakable. But then, in 2025, cracks started to appear, or at least, that's what the gossip mill wanted everyone to believe. Blake found herself entangled in a messy legal dispute with It Ends With Us co-star and director Justin Baldoni, and suddenly, Taylor's name was being dragged into the drama. Alleged leaked texts suggested that Blake referred to Taylor as one of her dragons in the context of the lawsuit, sparking speculation that their once rock-solid friendship was now on shaky ground. Was this the beginning of the end? Despite the swirling rumors, sources close to both stars insist that their bond is unbreakable, and that any perceived tension is nothing more than tabloid fiction. One thing is certain, Taylor Swift and Blake Lively have built a friendship that has survived the chaos of fame, the scrutiny of millions, and even the occasional scandal. Whether they're taking over Hollywood together or keeping their bond behind the scenes, their connection remains one of the most fascinating friendships in the entertainment industry. Taylor was dragged into this mess in ways she never expected. At first, Blake flaunted their friendship, claiming Taylor was involved in It Ends With Us, even influencing casting choices. But when the lawsuit dropped, Taylor's team scrambled to distance her from the drama, insisting she had nothing to do with the production. And when leaked text messages exposed Blake referring to Taylor as one of her dragons to intimidate Justin, Taylor had enough. She reportedly cut Blake off, canceled their plans to sit together at the Super Bowl, and started avoiding her entirely. The reason? She didn't want to be a pawn in Blake's games, especially now that Justin's lawsuit was dragging her name into the fire. Given how protective Taylor is over her reputation, her swift and deliberate move to distance herself from Blake speaks volumes. For someone who has always stood by her closest friends, this was a rare and shocking move. But perhaps the most unexpected betrayal comes from Ryan Reynolds' ex-wife, Scarlett Johansson. Before Ryan Reynolds became one half of Hollywood's ultimate power couple with Blake Lively, he was in a high-profile yet surprisingly secretive marriage with none other than Scarlett Johansson. Their relationship had all the makings of a Hollywood fairy tale, two A-list stars at the height of their careers, a whirlwind romance, and a glamorous life behind closed doors. But what really happened between them? And why did one of Tinseltown's most enviable marriages end so suddenly? It all began in 2007, when Reynolds and Johansson's romance shocked the world. While Ryan had just ended his engagement to Alanis Morissette, Scarlett was at the peak of her career as one of the most sought-after actresses in Hollywood. The two were notoriously private, rarely making public appearances together or even discussing their relationship in interviews. Fans were desperate for details, but the couple kept their love story under wraps, fueling even more curiosity. Then came the surprise wedding. In September 2008, Reynolds and Johansson tied the knot in an ultra-secret ceremony in the wilderness of Vancouver. No paparazzi, no grand spectacle, just two megastars saying I do in total privacy. It was a move that left the public stunned. Were they really that in love, or was there something they were hiding? For the next 2 years, the couple seemed to live in separate worlds. While Johansson was busy solidifying her status as a blockbuster queen with Iron Man 2 and the birth of her Black Widow legacy, Reynolds was making a name for himself in the superhero genre with Green Lantern. But instead of Hollywood's new power couple taking over red carpets together, they were barely seen in public at all. Their silence spoke volumes. By late 2010, the cracks in their marriage became impossible to ignore. Whispers of a growing distance turned into full-blown breakup rumors, and then, just like that, they announced their divorce. No scandal, no dramatic cheating allegations, just a vague statement about going their separate ways. It was over almost as mysteriously as it began. But here's where it gets interesting. While Johansson later described their marriage as an experience she learned from, Reynolds never publicly spoke about their relationship in detail. Was there more to the story? Some fans believe the couple's differing personalities and skyrocketing careers pulled them apart, while others think their hyper-private nature may have been a sign that they were never as solid as they appeared. Reynolds moved on quickly, finding his perfect match in Blake Lively just a year later, and building a marriage that thrives on humor, public appearances, and social media banter, everything his relationship with Johansson lacked. Meanwhile, Scarlett went on to marry Roman Doriak and later Colin Yost, proving she, too, had found the love story she was meant for. But despite their short-lived marriage, one thing remains clear: Ryan Reynolds and Scarlett Johansson's relationship was one of Hollywood's greatest mysteries, intensely private, unexpectedly short-lived, and forever leaving fans wondering what really went wrong behind closed doors. Given their past, Scarlett had every reason to keep her distance, but instead, she made a bold move. She just announced a new collaboration with Justin Baldoni on Eleanor the Great, her directorial debut. If that's not a statement, what is? And knowing how her marriage with Ryan ended, with rumors of his controlling behavior and career insecurities, people are speculating that Scarlett is more than happy to see him finally getting exposed. Many have speculated for years that Ryan and Scarlett's split wasn't as amicable as it seemed, and this new partnership with Justin only adds fuel to the fire. Could this be Scarlett's subtle way of getting back at Ryan? Or is she simply aligning herself with someone she believes is on the right side of the controversy? Even Blake's longtime personal trainer, Don Saladino, is quietly walking away. He was once a fixture in Blake and Ryan's inner circle, but after the lawsuit news broke, he started scrubbing his social media, deleting photos and videos with Ryan. And here's the kicker: Justin actually knew Don through Blake, and he even asked him about her fitness routine while preparing for the film. But instead of siding with Blake in the fallout, Don is now dropping subtle hints that he might not be backing her at all. Hollywood insiders say that when someone as close as a personal trainer begins to distance themselves, it's a bad sign. Could Don know something we don't? This scandal has evolved beyond a simple Hollywood feud. It's become a full-blown industry meltdown, with power players scrambling to protect their careers, and former allies flipping sides overnight. Blake and Ryan may have once ruled Hollywood's elite social circles, but with each passing day, it seems they're being left to fight this battle alone. What started as a quiet disagreement has now escalated into one of the biggest Hollywood betrayals in recent years. And with more secrets coming to light, one question remains: how much worse can this get? The entertainment industry is ruthless, and when powerful names turn on each other, careers can crumble in an instant. Will Blake and Ryan manage to salvage their reputations, or is this just the beginning of their downfall? Stay tuned, because this drama is far from over.